Hey friends, my name is Jen and I love cookies. Today is a really exciting milestone. This is my 100th cookie review, which is just insane to me that there have been that many. And to celebrate, I felt it was appropriate to get an extra special cookie. And so I went to Lowrider Baking Company. I believe it's Lowrider Baking something, and I think it's company. And I picked up a slice of cookie cake. I learned while I was transferring it out of the box that I picked it up in that it is pretty fragile, so I don't want to attempt to actually pick it up because that will not work. But this is doubly exciting because 98% of all cookie cakes that exist, at least that I've seen, are chocolate chip. And so I have actually not had a cookie cake before. And this one's also unique because most cookie cakes are just a giant cookie with frosting on top. And this one, as you saw, is actually 4 full layers of cookie. So my first observation about this cookie cake was at the center. You can definitely see it, I think, in the cookies, like over here on the right side. It's pretty soft and gooey, whereas the edges look like they will likely be more crumbly. And of course there is a layer of frosting in between each layer of cookie. This bakery is based in Seattle. I mentioned that I picked it up, but since the pandemic, they actually have started shipping nationwide. I do not know if they ship their cookie cakes. They might ship you a full one for probably a large price, but they do have normal cookies as well, and you can definitely ship those nationwide. So all of that said, I am going to take my first bite of cookie cake in my life. This is so exciting. What a great way to celebrate 100 reviews. Also, I'm obviously eating this with a fork because it's a cake and you can't. Yeah, all right. So the cookies are definitely very soft. I think if you took a normal cookie and tried to eat it with a fork, it might be a little weird. This worked very well because the texture of the cookies are so soft, and that might be related to the fact that they've been between layers of frosting. I picked it up this morning, but it happens. There is a very strong, I think I want to say vanilla, and I don't know if it's in the cookie or the frosting. I'm gonna take another bite and confirm that it is in fact vanilla and see if I can figure it out. You know what? I know I say this a lot recently. I think it's the almond extract thing again. There's a pretty strong, what I'm almost certain is almond extract taste to this cookie, which is a shame because I am not a fan. It's pretty common in shortbread and if you make a cake from scratch, but it's just not something I personally enjoy. And because of that, I'm gonna guess it's in the actual cookie, but let me try some frosting by itself to confirm. It's definitely in the actual cookie. It's kind of overpowering, that's really all I taste. But I do see, as is traditional for a birthday cake cookie, we have our sprinkles, and there's also some white chips in here that you can see. I don't know yet if they're chocolate or not, but they are there. So this is a official birthday cake cookie, even if it's not labeled that way. Okay, so I tried to isolate the white chip to see if it was chocolate or not. That actually tasted more like this overwhelming taste I don't like than anything else. Now I'm wondering if maybe I did a bad job isolating it. Let me do it visibly instead of trying to do it in my mouth. Yeah, it's these white chips. I'm so fascinated now. I wonder if they are homemade, like, as opposed to being a specific, like, when I go to the grocery store and buy white baking chips in a bag, I wonder if they've made them themselves. Because they are also shaped differently. They don't have that, like, Hershey's Kiss type thing. They're more, like, triangular. So I'm still in definitely the soft part of the cookie. I would say that this definitely has more density than a cake. Like, a cake is cake. That's what I got. Cakes are like airy, fluffy when done well. This is definitely more dense than that. And I wouldn't even say that it's like airy for a cookie, because there are airy cookies. I've rated some, and I wouldn't say it's that. It's more that it's just like really soft. And so that does help it seem more cake-like. So the frosting itself is surprisingly fluffy. Definitely like a whipped type of frosting. That does not have the almondy taste. I think it's probably a whipped buttercream is what I'm gonna go with. Definitely like a homemade whipped buttercream. It's almost bordering on like whipped cream, but it's definitely not. Ooh, I got a taste of some sprinkles there, which is interesting because sprinkles are definitely like all the way throughout this cake. That was the first time I actually tasted the sprinkles. So I just took my first bite of an edge piece, and it definitely is more crumbly. I actually think this is weird, but the texture of the edge of this cookie cake reminds me of a good cornbread, where it's like crumbly and it kind of like falls apart into like, it kind of like falls apart in your mouth, and that's not quite the right way to describe it, but it's moist and it's crumbly also, and it just like the way it crumbles in your mouth while you're eating it. That's what this reminds me of, is really like a good, solid, well done cornbread. Okay, let's start with the good. I feel like they did the texture on that very well. Never having had a cookie cake before, maybe they're all like this, but I would say that the inside softer parts were almost like a cross between a cookie and a brownie, and then I already said the edges were more like cornbread. I think if it had been traditional cookie texture, I wouldn't have been able to eat it with a fork as nicely, and I did appreciate that it like functioned like a cake. So that was a very good. Texture was well done. I did like the frosting, but jumping over into the bad things, the almond extract flavor was just so overwhelming. It actually reminded me of a time in high school when my ex-boyfriend and I decided to make a cake for the 4th of July, and we read the recipe wrong and accidentally put a tablespoon of almond extract instead of a teaspoon. Like, that's how overwhelming it was. It was just the only thing that I could taste. So I liked the frosting when I ate it by itself, but when I didn't, I could barely even taste it. I do wonder if they did that intentionally to make it more cake-like, because that is common in cakes, but I was not a fan. That said, it wasn't like terrible. I ate the whole thing. I am excited still to try their other 2 cookies, because I did get 2 normal cookies, and I don't think those will have the same problem, but I just didn't love it. So I think I'm gonna go with like a 5.7, which is gonna have to be there because that's the closest I can get it. All right, so that was a confetti, I think, cookie cake from Lowrider Baking Co. here in Seattle, also shipping nationwide. Thank you for watching my 100th cookie review. If you like watching me talk about cookies, please like, comment, and/or subscribe below. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day and eat more cookies.